Welcome back, everybody. We're going into part 2 of today's episode of RollPlay Nebula Jazz. I would like to temporarily leap across the universe to our friend Quinn. So, Quinn, help me get squared away with your situation, your plan here. So, you have the scepter. You have the Agaran Scepter of Ascension, perhaps the most culturally and technologically significant object in the universe at the moment. Certainly the most important to us. You have the MacGuffin. You've stolen a ship. You recently survived a melee combat with a magically empowered Mingasi Commodore.
That did happen, yes.
And you and your good friend Dave the Human have flown away somewhere. Where are you at? What's the plan here? Where do we frame this up for me?
The last thing that I know, because I haven't kept up on everyone else's business. The last thing I know is that Thuja and the princess ? Were headed on their way to a meeting with their people to hand over the scepter. So we've decided that our best option is to go to wherever that was and see if we can track them from there.
Okay. All right. And so the last thing that we saw was you escaping, right? And going out that way to that place.
Well, the last thing we saw, if you remember correctly, was that on the way there, I was pulled out of hyperspace or whatever we call it. And old Slipknot was there, and he and the crew of pirates decided to chase me. But because I remember that space doesn't work the way they think it does, and it has 3 dimensions, I just went down and around them.
That's
I love that. They've lived in space their whole life, but never considered the 3rd dimension of space.
Yeah,
they're pirates. They don't.
I know, they're just stupid pirates.
Yeah, and so I went down and then under them and hyper jumped out of there, but they are on my trail, and
That's
so
right.
I'm headed through space to where I think people are ?
Yeah, and
really
this.
know.
It was never totally clear to me. You weren't going to the shards of Agara because that's where you ended up getting pulled to. You were going to another place that we hadn't seen before because you got intercepted the first time.
Right. Yeah, we were just gonna go wherever it was that Thuja was gonna have the meeting originally.
Okay.
Because we assume there'll be something there that'll let us know who they were gonna meet, what was going on, right? Or maybe they're still there. We just don't know.
Okay. Perfect. So here's what I think happens. You've just escaped from pursuit. You and Dave are in the cockpit of this ship that you stole, and and I think Dave says to you, we can hear the console beeping, and he looks over at you and he says, he's like, "Oh, we're almost there, man." And he hits a couple of buttons and pulls a lever, and you can hear the whole kind of tonal sound of the engine's noise kind of drop in pitch until there's a pop as you return to real space. And I think what we see at first is your ship, right? It just pops back into space, a bunch of empty space around you. And then a shadow kind of falls over the ship, and we pull out until the ship is tiny. And as the camera turns, we see an enormous, maybe at first we think that it's like an object in space, like a comet or a meteor. It's huge. Like your ship is a tiny little fly speck compared to this enormous thing. It's vaguely round. It's kind of ovoid. And the whole thing is made out of metal. It's built to look in the way we've described before, the kind of Jacker style ship looks like it's made out of a bunch of kit and bits and pieces of other objects. The prop is very hands-on, and the whole thing is in the shape of a giant human-looking head. It's just like a big person's head. They have a very well-defined cheekbones and a strong jaw. They have a big kind of pompadour haircut, and it's just a big, handsome man's face. And I think that you realize with whatever you tell me what emotion dawns in you as you recognize it. This ship is the flagship of the Jacker fleet. This is the battleship of Jack himself.
Oh no!
And yeah, and you've
Yes.
just like whoomp, popped back in, and you just see this like huge ship face in front of you as you return to real space. And yeah, Dave looks at you and looks back, and he's like, "It's a big head, man."
and Quinn sort of shoos the smoke away from his face, and he's like, "So you see that too?" And then all the ships behind them, all of the Captain Slipknot ships here behind them.
Yeah, all of his shit.
They all start popping in. Yeah.
And Dave and Quinn have this look, and then Quinn comms on to Jack himself and is like, "Jack, it's me, Quinn."
So there's a pause, and then we hear a tinny, like pre-recorded trumpet, like a horn section, kind of like a heraldic, like do 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 kind of noise. And then there's a Motown style like chorus of like women's voices that sing a little like ditty about Jack, like Jack, ooh, he's so great, Jack, and like we get a little song, and then it fades out. And then you hear someone come on there's a voice that comes on over the thing, and it's like, "You're talking to Jack, baby." Boop. And then it goes out. And then you hear a voice that says, "Well, shit, Quinn, I knew that. How you doing, boy?"
And Quinn,
Father?
am I allowed to world build here? Can I?
You can posit some suggestions, sure.
I love the positive suggestion.
Uh-huh.
Turns out Captain Slipknot doesn't follow the pirate rules. He's not a jacker. He's not a good jacker. He's in fact the least jackery of all the jackers, which is why I left. And so when they see that this is Jack's flagship, they're all like, "Oh shit!" And they all start to turn around and flee because Jack is a good guy at heart.
We'll see about that. I definitely.
It's been a while. Like, you ain't seen Jack for a while.
Yeah, you don't know
Jack's
Jack.
a good guy.
You don't know Jack.
So yeah, I think.
Morals.
I think maybe there's tension certainly between there's factions, Jacker factions, right? And
Sure.
Jacksons.
Jacksons, if you will. Yep.
Yeah, totally. Action.
There are five Jacksons. 5 of them.
The Jackson Five.
Yes.
Right. The council of the heads of the
Jackson
the
Five. There's
Jacker
5
factions.
like leaders. Jack's one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. No, Jack is the centerpiece of the Jackson faction.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that Slipknot belongs to a faction that is kind of on the outs right now. And so yeah, he doesn't have a lot of power here. And yeah, he's probably like, shit, like he wanted to get you and turn you into Jack to be like, to earn his place again. But they'll deal with that later. There's internal politics. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, of course.
And so yeah, he says to you, he's like, shit, how you been, son? And then what do you say back to Jack?
Quinn looks around at the screens in front of him and sees that there are all these jacker ships behind him, and then one giant jacker ship in front of him. And he looks to Dave and like does sort of "I hope this works" kind of look, and he's like, "Just looking to come aboard, sir. I'd love to talk with you. We have a very interesting opportunity."
And he comes back on. And he's like, "Well, opportunity is my middle name. It is."
Yeah.
Jack Opportunity
It actually is.
Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, his last name is himself. So Jack Opportunity himself. And so he says to you, he's like, he says, why don't you come on board? We'll have dinner. And we see the head of the ship, its mouth like start to open, so like blah, and his like tongue opens up, and like a tractor beam shoots out of its mouth and like grabs your ship and starts getting like pulled in. And Dave looks at you and he shakes his head. He's like, I don't think I want to go in there, man.
And Quinn's like, all you have to do is hide out on the ship. There's plenty of crawl spaces. Just don't get spotted, and we'll get ourselves out of this.
Okay. And he kind of just like looks nervously at you. He nods. He's like, all right, man. He gets up and he grabs his bag of Frigalian snack rings and his bong and like gathers them up in his arms, and he goes to hide out in one of the back like compartments of the ship. And and as the Jactor beam pulls you into the hangar bay in the big mouth of the ship, we see the teeth, Jack's perfect teeth, close, and the ship is momentarily in darkness as you get drawn into the ship. Now, is there anything that you're doing on your ship? Right, like you have the scepter on hand. What are you gonna do before you get you leave the ship and get into Jack's head?
Quinn stuffs the scepter down into one of the compartments with Dave. And
okay, so you go back to the back of the ship and you can see Dave like climbing into a cargo hold, and you just like give him the scepter. You just jam it in next to him.
I just put it down next to him and sort of like give him a little pat on the head, like take care of this.
I like the
idea
that
I seal him
Dave
in.
reaches up and he's like, "Dude, my jewels!" And then you realize he's left his toaster strudels in the kitchen, and you go like grab some and like pass them down. He's like, "My man."
Oh, I start dumping like baked goods down there with him.
He's throwing all his snacks.
Like, you know when like someone's like been in a desert and it rains and they like drop to their knees and like let it. That's what Dave's doing. He's just letting like all the food, just
cupcakes.
Like yeah.
Awesome. All right, and then you put the lid on the container, and you can hear a muffled underneath like, "Thanks, bro." And and then you head off the ship. Now, I think that we see the ship, your ship door open, right? The kind of the sort of the golden sphincteral opening at the back of the ship slides open with a hiss,
and
you step out into the interior of Jack's ship. Now, everything in this ship is like beautiful to Jack's specification, and I think the whole aesthetic is kind of like a 50s Vegas, like Elvis kind of loungy, lots of animal prints. So there's a force field that blocks the mouth, and you can see it closing, and the force field is like leopard print, and there's a big like red carpet with brass poles that runs from all the different ships, and all of his little his like fleet of vessels, his pleasure yachts, his racing boats, they're all kind of laid out on the velvety surface of the tongue that extends out to grab you when you get pulled in. One of Jack's many assistants is waiting for you there. Jack, he has all these like loyal, like genetically engineered assistants that they help him do things. You know, he's a busy man, and so they're called his hands. And so one of Jack's hands is waiting for you there when you step out of the ship. And he's wearing this like huge lapel purple kind of like tuxedo. He's got orange skin and a row of like 6 horns under his pompadour. And he bows to you and he says, "Welcome to the head, Quinn."
Quinn gives him the coolest high five anyone has ever seen. It's like a crazy thing because
Right.
it's a Jacker thing. Jackers know what's up, and especially Jack. When you meet Jack's people, you got to give them the secret high five. It's the only way that they know that you're legit.
You're on the level. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's have you perform the secret Jacker handshake. Let's see if you can perform this hand job correctly.
It's
Roll flashy. I think if you want to use the secret hand language of the Jackers, there's a lot of information that gets transferred here. What are you trying to impart? What information are you trying to impart to him here?
I'm letting him know that, you know what, I'm here for good reasons, and I'm not here to like cause trouble. And I do it in a way that is very like calm and collected. Like, look, dude.
Yeah, I
don't worry
believe
about
that
me.
There's a whole lexicon of hand maneuvers that Jackers use to communicate information. This one is called "We Cool."
Yeah.
And
cool.
and we'll see if you can perform it adequately. It's been a while, and it wasn't designed for lizard hands, so it's a little tricky for you. Let's call it a difficulty 3, Flashy.
All right. Oh,
Nice.
Oh yeah.
You never
All right.
forget. You never
Yeah.
forget.
So
Like
it ends
riding
with
a bike.
Yeah. It ends with a pull away to a snap, and then like a chest pound. And he nods, gives you a little bow, and he says, "We cool indeed. Jack wishes to speak with you, but he understands that you've been traveling for some time. Do you want to rest? We have a room prepared for you, Quinn."
And Quinn looks at him and he's like, "No, man, it's cool. Just give me a stiff drink and a chair to lean on, and I'll be all right." And he gives him like another like,
yeah. And he nods and he says, "You know, stiff's the only way we know how to do it." And then he says,
Dick jokes are like out of control already.
And then one of the hands, he gestures. He's like, "This way, sir." And and he shifts slightly. Like his whole effect is like mid-50s casino maitre d', right? Like, so he kind of gives you this like, "This way, sir," and he lets you take a half step forward before kind of leading you into the ship.
and something you see that you haven't ever seen before is Quinn's jacker walk, which is sort of like a pimp walk where he's like there's an invisible cane almost there. Back. Yeah, he's just like yeah.
Sure. Yes.
That's what people know he's on the level. Yeah.
There's an effect for sure. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think that you step into you step into the elevator, and we see that there's another of Jack's hands here. And he's actually, they would have a robot for this. So you step in and immediately there's a bunch of these little kind of glass and steel drones that kind of scan you and take measurements of you. So we see projected on your skin like the length of your arm, and one of them like flies down and measures your inseam, and they like compile all this information and then recede back into the walls of the elevator. At the top, by the time you get to the place you're going, someone is waiting there with a tailored like a jacket, and like you got to dress for the occasion if you're gonna go meet Jack, and they've prepared, right? You come to the club without a suit and tie, and they have one made for you.
It is leopard print neon pink.
Perfect. Yes.
With and on the seams are like neon laser lights.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Good.
Okay, so you step out, and they like dress you as you walk. Basically, it's like sewn around you, and you walk to the end of a hallway, and everything in here, every junction has these big full-length kind of tailor's mirrors, and you notice the hand keeps everyone on the ship checks themselves out in the mirror all the time. There's a lot of like finger guns and like clicking and like winking, but it's all at reflections, right? So
right.
You get to the end of the hall, the T intersection, and the hand, like gives himself the guns. He's like looking good, and he looks over at you to see if you approve of your new outfit.
Quinn does a finger to himself in the mirror, and then swings it down to the guy, and he's like, "You are looking good."
And he smiles, and in the traditional polite response, he's like, "You're the cat's pajamas, Quinn." Like you see like a little barrage of snaps.
Quinn's like, "Bee's knees."
Right. And what I want to underline here is that this culture, the like jacker culture that Jack adheres to, while to us it all seems very like smooth and cool, everything that's happening is like it's like a samurai like tea ritual. It's like ikebana, right? Like every maneuver carries like deep secret meaning, and every the arc of every finger snap carries some kind of significance there. And so it's very regimented, but seems to us to be very like kind of chill and sleazy.
And here's what you need to know as well: all 5 of the different Jacksons are different.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
They're all totally different, and so each one has its own.
Wars have started over the wrong syllable or one too many snaps.
Right.
And so I think that the hand leads you to one of Jack's many chambers, and you walk up to the door, and it's got the door looks like a hotel room door. It's got a number, a big gold number on the door. It says 69. They all do. And he turns to you and he says, if you or himself needs anything, I'll be waiting right here. And he gestures and the door clicks and opens.
Quinn turns around and sort of like gives another handshake kind of thing as he enters the door backwards, like looking at the guys. He's like, bye. And the door closes behind him.
Right, you moonwalk through the door.
Yeah.
Okay. So inside, this is one of Jack's many chambers on his ship. This room, I think that we see as we come in, it has like deep shag carpeting in a kind of maroon color. It's a multi-tiered room. It looks like a hotel room. So there's some like clearly unused furniture laying around. There is on one side there's a heart-shaped bed that is slowly like rotating. It's got a big mirror above it. And on the wall, there's what looks like a one of those kind of 4-piece. I think it's an Andy Warhol painting of like Marilyn Monroe, but instead it's just Jack. It's 4 pictures of Jack. And at the very back of the room, up on a kind of podium, on a like glassy podium, there's a huge white, what looks like a plastic piano. Parts of it are see-through. And seated at the bench, and we kind of can't see him because the piano is also on a rotating platform. We see his back. He's wearing a white tuxedo, and we get a close-up shot of his fingers, kind of gently like caressing the keys of this piano. And he's playing a kind of like sad, like a bit of a melancholy version, piano version of My Way. And he's just finishing it, and he does this really long kind of masturbatory like jazz solo at the end, and then he hits a key just as he rotates around, and and then we see Jack's face, and he's perfect. Everything about him is this kind of plastic surgery perfection version of a human being. There are lots and lots of rumors about what Jack used to look like or really looks like, but he's had so much work done that he basically looks like if you took, every celebrity from the Rat Pack from the 50s and composited them into this perfect image of a human man. That's what he looks like. His hair is one big kind of plastic like object, and it comes to a stop as he finishes the song, and he looks at you and just gives you one like, Quinn, my man.
Quinn sort of does like a snap back, and he's like, damn, that was apple butter smooth.
And and he nods and he stands up and
what's happening right now?
he stands up and he walks over to you. And he takes off. He's got these white gloves on. And he takes his gloves off, and he puts out one hand as if like requesting an object from you. And he says, "Give me some skin, Quinn, baby."
Quinn gives him another over the top, very impressive hand jam. I don't know what we're gonna call this point. Hand jam.
Hand jams. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet hand jams.
Okay, well let's roll. It's a competition now because he's trying to assert dominance, right? To be like, you are here under my orders. I'm the one who's in charge of this situation. Like you can't, like he's trying to establish dominance. That's what he's trying to impart with his knuckle slapping, fist bumping, elbow rubbing maneuver. What are you trying to like? If you win, you'll have the sort of advantage in the conversation. What are you trying to impart or do?
I want him to know that what I'm about to tell him is very, very important, or else I wouldn't have come specifically for him. Like, I didn't just stumble upon you. This was my plan to find you the entire time. I was looking for you, dude, because, man, do I have something important to tell you.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll roll flashy for him, and you do the same.
Does this count as an overcome? Can I pull this off?
It's a versus, like, an opposed test.
All right.
Oof. Boy, it's hard to be as flashy as Jack.
I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna let him be Jack. I'm not even gonna try to fight that.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I think he does this thing, and you find yourself like slipping a couple of times, and like it's like as tense as a sword fight would be, right? We get the way this is shot is like hyper close up of Quinn's eyes, like your forehead wrinkling, and like Jack kind of like leaning back, and the music is the same as we would use for a duel, and lots of little like we see your fingers like locking and unlocking in this.
It's a Spanish guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a duel for sure. Yep. And then the two of you perform the like group kind of snap, and he puts his hand up, and it's as if it's that moment in the kung fu movie where you've battled and then separated, and now you know the measure of each other.
Right.
And and he's cool as a cucumber. And he says to you, you've been up to a heck of a lot, Big Daddy. I've been hearing things from the rest of the Jacksons. You've got old Slipknot chasing you from one end of this big universe to the other, all over some kind of stick, I hear.
Quinn sort of looks down, knowing he's been defeated by such a smooth man, and he's like, "Yeah, picked up a trinket from the Mengasi. Looks like it's big. I was hoping you could help me deliver it for big score."
And he says, I'd love to get my eyes on the merchandise. You got it on you?
Quinn smiles. He's like, I wouldn't do that.
And he grins and he says, once a Jackalite, always a Jackalite. You learn well.
And they both give each other like across the room. Like, damn right.
So he says, he's like, so you want Big Jack to cut you in on a deal, use the network. You looking to find a buyer for this thing? Because I hear the Mengasi are heavy after it.
Quinn looks at me. He's like, no, I want to cut you in on the deal. I know people who want it, and we can deliver it to them if I have your help.
And he grins. It's like, me help you? Would you flip your lid, Quinn? That's not how it's gonna go. See, I figure I got you, and I got your ship. And plus, and he kind of like leans back. He's like, you swore the oath, Jacker baby. You belong to me.
Quinn's like, hey, don't go wait, baby. It's okay. I know what's up. But this thing is prime real estate. Primo number one, let me tell you. You're going to want to be involved.
So he I think let's see if you can convince him. Let's see if you can get him like get his attention, right? Cuz right now he's just like, well, I got you. I got whatever thing you got. That's what he wants more, but if you can kind of convince him that you've got some smarts, then maybe maybe he'll treat you more like an equal. I mean, you'll never be his equal, but
of course not. Obviously.
All right. So how are you? I mean, it sounds like you're being clever, right? You're trying to like kind of hook his attention.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So this is let's say we'll overcome his skepticism. He's not going to actively try to oppose you. Let's see. Difficulty is 3. Boy, okay. Would you like to spend a fate point? Maybe re-roll that.
I'll do that.
All right. So what aspect are you going to use to?
I would love to use the fact that I'm a former space jacker, that I wouldn't fail that badly. I would know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like I've dealt with this guy before. Yeah.
Deals. Yeah. Okay.
-1. That sucks.
Oh, much better. There we go.
There you go. Better. Okay. All right. So he says, all right, no sweat. Tell me what you're thinking. You got something, everybody else wants it. How can old Jack help you?
And Quinn sort of like looks out to the star, to the giant window that he has clearly in this room. And
it's so when you look to the window, it's behind the thing, and you realize it's got this kind of like circular like arc to it, and you realize you're in one of the eyes of the huge head, and so you're looking out through Jack's eyes at the rest of the universe. And there's all this like all the little ships of the fleet kind of hanging there.
Quinn points out to space. He's like, "Let me illuminate something for you, Daddy." Out there's a kitten looking for a scepter. And if we can deliver it to her, my oh my, think of the moolah we'd score.
And he squints and he rubs his perfect chin and he's like, well, razz my berries, Quinn. You know I'm always up for making a bit of cash. If this thing's as important as you say, what do you think? We're going to get the Mingasi to pay us for it.
And Quinn's like, no, not a faction. One person. And he like gives him like this wink of like, ooh, suspicion.
Okay. So you're still kind of trying to keep him on the keep him on the edge, right? To try to like get him to stay interested rather than tell him all the information. Okay.
Right.
All right. So what do you want to get him to do? What do you want him to agree to or like?
I want him to use his network to help me track down Thuja and the princess and see if we can find them. Instead of me having to travel the galaxy and be chased by damn pirates, I can just use the pirates to help me find who I'm looking for.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Okay. So in exchange, you offer him like a cut of what you're going to make when you sell the scepter. Is that the plan?
Yeah,
Okay.
I because I'm such a nice guy and I know the pirate rules, 60-40, he can have the 60 because I know he's doing so much here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, you've said this, I believe, yourself. You know you're on thin ice here because you don't jack a jacker, right? Like this is the ultimate. This is the ultimate in that walking that dangerous line. He's the
ultimate jack off.
Yeah, it is indeed the ultimate jack off.
God damn it!
This guy he's the top of the pile, right? Like you gotta be real careful with this. But if you pull it off, you'll earn probably not only what you want but his respect. Right. So, yeah. So he tells you, all right, well, you go out there, you tell my hands whatever you need. You're welcome to stay on board my ship. In fact, I wouldn't have it any other way. You don't go anywhere. You stay right here. We'll find these. And I guess you told him like it's two women you're looking for. Yeah. He's like, we'll find these birds. And when we do, and sell that scepter and make some money. And he looks back at the piano and he's like, now if you'll excuse me, I gotta tickle the ivories. And he like slides back onto the bench and he just like starts playing again, like you're not even in the room. And the piano starts to like rotate slowly.
Quinn backs out of the room, still facing him, because that's how you exit every room on this ship.
Right. Yes.
Still facing him, and the door opens and it closes behind him. And as he stands there facing the door in the empty hallway, he's like, Jesus Christ, no wonder I don't do this anymore. Because they worship Jesus.
He did
apparently.
it at some point though, and that.
Yes. Oh, it drives
true
me.
gem.
Yeah, like he's done. He's just like no wonder he left these guys. He's like, I can't even.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So you leave the room, and now you're on the ship with Jack. And so we see you leave, and we fade out on that, and we return to the outside of the bar, which we can see now is called Missy's. The three of you are there. You see Rex returning from the alley, and I don't know, maybe Aurora, you catch the kind of tail end, I guess literally, of the weasel taking off. And Rex is looking at something, and we get a shot of it in your hand, and it's a little business card. It's a gray kind of like off-white business card. It's got a picture of a weasel, and the weasel has a lab coat, like a doctor's coat on, and he's got one of those like headbands with the reflector, the mirror. And a stethoscope around his neck, and it says Mr. Snickers on it, and then underneath in italics it says chemistry. Yeah,
so he's not even a doctor; he's a scientist.
He's a scientist.
Yeah, he's a chemist.
Yeah, he does chemistry. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. He doesn't like Rex like pockets the card next to the vial in his pocket, and like walks back to like I guess Eugene is like still trying to figure out a plan.
Yeah, what's Eugene and what are Eugene and Aurora doing?
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I think we're deep in conversation about whether or not we've like concocted a really stupid plan while Rex has been gone. That's along the lines of like going up to this lizard man and convincing him that his feelings are valid to try and like tap into his like cultural issues and be like, you don't need that jar, man. You feel a lot of shit and you hold it all back, but you don't got it. And we're like, all right, so what's the best way? Like which of us do you think should go up and like start to like, do you think maybe I should do it? Because, you know, all of the slimes that people ever meet are just like pieces of shit, you know? So maybe I can just like revert back to that and, hey, did you find anything? And it's like Rex walks up.
Rex like walks straight up to Eugene. He's like, he came here. You got his ass whooped. He's in the basement.
What, are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Like, all right. Then I'm going to do it. Like, start to go around the corner.
Rex like looks at Aurora and he's like, what's he doing?
He's going around the corner. You heard him.
Wow.
You know, it didn't work out so much with this lizard man over here, so he's gonna go around the corner and do his gooey thing, I'm sure.
Glad you're up to speed. Good.
You know, I don't even, you know, man, I was just thinking, like, if...
Are you high?
No, man, no. I totally didn't have anything to drink. It's cool. Whatever.
I like how the last few episodes it's been like goofy space hijinks, but also like this incredibly harsh bummer story about Aurora's struggle with alcoholism. Like
Rex just like shakes his head in disbelief and just like follows Eugene.
if this were a TV show, the actress playing Aurora would be having like real life problems, and the writers of the show are just trying to make the character so that when she shows up drunk on set, they're like, no, the character's like this now. It's fine. We can't fire her. She's under contract.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, or like how they had to replace what's his name's sister on that 70s show.
Yes.
Like you're gonna push it too far, and suddenly it'll be a different. Aurora will be the same character, but there'll be a different actress. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna follow behind Rex and just like start like tapping away again.
When I see that they're following me, I'm like, no, you're gonna fuck this all up. You stay there.
Wait, so what's the plan?
I like.
Where are you going?
I ignore her and I start to go to the lizard man, but I'm moving in a very different way than Eugene normally moves. Like I'm very bouncy.
And I like look at Rex. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is he doing? It looks ridiculous.
You're the person that should know. This plan was discussed between the two of you.
He didn't say anything.
I was not here.
Still mad. I think he's still mad about us showing up.
Hello, sir. Have you heard the news about Mother Slime?
Oh God.
So you're walking up saying that as the argument between Aurora and Rex kind of fades out in the background, and the lizard man with two hands, little claws on, he reaches up and he pulls little earbuds out of his little side of his head ear holes, and we can hear just for a second, like faintly, "It's Not Unusual" by Tom Jones, like playing, and he pulls it out, and then it turns off, and he looks down at you, he's like, "What?"
Hello, sir. It looks like you might have not heard about the good news of Mother Slime.
And he rolls.
Do you have a moment?
He rolls his eyes. He's like, "Blick snort, no." And he like looks at you, and he's like, "I don't have time for this, Slime. Get out of here."
You know, I met a lovely lizard man the other day, and I just want you to know that I would like to activate my stunt.
Okay. All right.
I just want you to know that it seems like you come from a culture that feels that your feelings aren't valid. And I just want you to know that you're a wonderful person who deserves to experience all the joys, the ups and downs of life.
And he looks at you and he's like, What are you talking about? You don't know me.
You know, sometimes we feel really happy and sometimes we feel really sad. And I just want you to really be honest with yourself. When's the last time you let yourself be really sad?
And he shakes his head and he's like, I don't I don't know what you're talking about. What? I can't. And you can see his little lizard eyes start to kind of well up.
It's okay, buddy.
He's patting himself down, looking for his jar. Like he can't.
I put a little slime right up against his mouth, and I'm like, shh.
You don't need that anymore. You don't need that anymore.
So
you know what you do need? Self-love.
So what I would also posit too is that if you want to, you could have, because you're using your stunt, you're talking about the situation, it's all color. You could very easily have we could cut over to another tendril sliding up behind under his jacket and just taking the jar away, right? And he doesn't notice it. While you're distracting him, it's like you're another person, right? Because you're just stick your squiggly arm up under his jacket, and we see it wrap around this jar and kind of sneak it away because that's why he can't find it, right?
Right.
And so you put your little tendril against his mouth, and he's just spitting out disgusting slime stuff, and he looks at you and he's he's starting to panic a little. You can see his chest rising and falling, and I think even now, Aurora, you and Rex can smell what is the mix of. We're gonna get back into our cocktail thing here. Quinn, what does it smell like when a lizard man feels a combination of anxiety and sadness? What is that? What is that particular smell?
Anxiety and sadness?
Yeah, the sadness is kind of a welling up. It's like an after smell in the back of the throat, and then the four notes are of anxiety and worry.
Ironically, like freshly cut grass.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Daisies.
Nostalgic.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay. So this chlorophyll smell kind of just a waft over to you as he shakes his head and he says he's like, I gotta guard the door. I can't have feelings right now. Where's my jar?
You gotta take a moment for you. When's the last time you took a moment for you? What's your name?
Damn.
And he looks at you and he's like, everybody calls me Francis.
Francis, you seem like a swell guy that maybe just needs a vacation, needs a minute to yourself, right? When's the last time you went to the library and read your favorite book?
I love how Eugene's I'm being nice to you voice is just turning the pitch up higher and higher as you talk. Eventually you're just be like, how you doing, buddy? So he's like, when I took this job, I just kind of left all my hobbies behind. It's just work all the time.
That's not very healthy, is it?
I used to go to the theater. I love the theater.
You know what? You should go to the theater right now.
And he looks at you. He's like, you know what? I should. And he runs off. So he just turns and he does one of those kind of dramatic movie exits where he throws his arm over his eyes. He's and runs off sobbing. Exactly. Yeah. And now you're just standing there in the empty street, and there's no bouncer at the door.
And I turn around. I'm like, all right, let's go.
And I just turn and look. I'm like, oh, okay, and just walk in.
See this look of bewilderment that you've never seen on Rex's face before. He has no idea what just happened.
I look at Rex. I'm like, I want you to forget that you ever heard any of that shit come out of my mouth. That is not what's actually going on inside my heart. Great.
Yeah, I'm like, we both heard. In fact, I recorded. If that's all right,
I need you to. We could talk about that later, but I need you to delete that. No, that never happened.
We'll talk about it later. I'm not gonna do it. Let's not do anything rash, okay?
Rex is all right, and just follows behind, and he reaches into his pocket, and he's holding the vial in his hand, but you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now there's just the door with the slot, right?
Yes.
Okay. I knock.
Okay. Extrude a little tendril and knock on the door. There's an echoing sound, and then you hear a as the slit opens, and we just see two kind of indistinct looking eyes in the shadow, and you hear a voice say, I guess it looks around because you're kind of short. The eyes like look back and forth, and they're like.
Well, I'm with Rex and Aurora though, right? The three.
Yeah,
of us.
I mean, I guess if Rex and Aurora step up, they see them, and the voice is like, "Where's Francis? Who are you?"
He can't see Eugene, right?
No,
is
Eugene
like,
is down like
Rex is
below
like-
eye level.
Oh, taking over his shift. I'm the new guy. I just need to grab some effects inside.
That is a hell of a lie. All right, let's see if you can do it.
All right.
Yeah,
you're being sneaky.
Yeah.
Let's say difficulty. God, it's really
Get
difficult.
this lie, get this lie.
Let me see. I want to say. Oh Jesus! It doesn't even matter. I was gonna say like 6, but yeah. All right, so -1. Do you want to spend some points? Do you want me to reroll? You're not very sneaky.
No.
Okay. Okay. So there's he's like new guy. What? No, there's no new guy. I would know about a new guy. There's none. Who are you? Why are you trying to get in? You don't. Where's Francis?
I wanna slip. Okay, look, let me just pitch this, all right?
All right.
I wanna slip some slime, like, because if his face.
Wait, I want to compel you.
Oh, okay.
Rex is gonna poke this guy in the eye through the slit, and you're gonna use the time to put your whole body through the eye slit and get inside.
Right, like the male.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I accept.
Yeah. We call this maneuver the Danubian mailbox, and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the poking in the eyes isn't such a big deal. We're gonna see if you're fast enough, Eugene, to squeeze yourself through this little mailbox slot. So Rex, how do you communicate with Eugene that it's time? Have you two done this maneuver before?
No, I think the idea is that Rex is just gonna blind the guy so he can't shut the shutter and grab his eye, and then he's just gonna be like, Eugene, if you could, and just gesture for him to go through the gap and open the door on the other side.
Okay, let's see if you can wedge yourself through the hole here.
Okay.
I think it's quick. It's gonna be if you can slurp in there quickly. I'll say difficulty 2.
Okay.
You can do it if you spend that point. Rex,
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna spend my point.
Okay. All right. Which aspect are you gonna use?
I will use the aspect future richest slime in the galaxy because I'm a slime person and I can slip through shit.
It's true. It's your form. I think
totally could have done less is more.
So you like slurp up into the hole, squeeze through there, and on the other side, I think we see you kind of pour out onto the floor, and there is a creature that has pulled itself away and is like grabbing at its eyes, but it's basically just kind of a shadowy cloud. And there are arms and legs, sort of spider-like, emerging from the cloud made out of this shadow that has pulled it away from the slot and up onto the ceiling. The thing's about head size with these little tendrils. And the only other visible thing in it are just 2 floating human eyes, just like floating in the cloud. And they're currently like blinking open and closed. They're all red, and there's like tears coming out, and it's rubbing its eyes.
Wait, so there wasn't like a tough guy behind the door?
No, there was
a
just
tiny little thing with eyes that was
exactly
like
a little
blocking the
cloud
thing.
with eyeballs in it that was stuck to the door.
That had like a super deep voice.
Yeah. And it's pulled itself away and climbed up on the ceiling, and it's just like my eyes! What the hell? Shit! And you pour yourself into the room, and it's just a metal door with a bar on it. There's a long brick hallway. With neon kind of posters floating above it, advertising various alcohols and musical acts that have played at Missy's. And you can hear the sound of faint like jazz trombone somewhere down this hall, kind of echoing off the thing. And so you open the door, and the temporarily blinded doorman is just like clinging to the ceiling. It's like, oh, my eyes, fuck.
Right.
And
Yes.
so the three of you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that wasn't too bad.
Oh, good job. I'm still, I'm gonna upload this, probably or something if that's all right.
Drop it? Could you drop it, please?
I'm just,
You're killing
I
me.
was watching it. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I think I get a lot of views.
I look at Rex. I'm like, they said he's in the basement.
Yeah, basement.
Do I see a way to go? Are there like stairs downward or just the hallway?
There's like a coat check to one side. There's the bar ahead of you, and if there is a way to get into the basement, it's probably through like behind the bar.
Okay.
Is it like vacant, like the club's?
No, it's there's people in
It's
here.
bumping?
It's never not busy in the like red light canyon. There's music playing. You can hear people talking, drinks like clinking. If you just barge in there, you're gonna make a big scene, and people are gonna kind of flip out.
But we can blend in, though.
Not the way you look now. I mean, we get that shot of like Eugene being like, we can blend in, and you like look at your friends, and Rex is just like covered in blood, and Aurora sticks out like a sore thumb. However, you're standing right next to the coat check, which is a little alcove full of like coats and hats and like, fur stoles and what have you, various bits of ephemera that have been left here.
I see what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
I see.
And so that would be,
a montage, if you will, of putting on random jackets.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's the thing. If you would like to, you can simply go in and emerge in your blending in costume. But I would love to hear what that looks like for each of you.
I want to just picture that, like, in the movies and TV shows where someone walks out and they're like modeling, and then the two people on the bench are just like, that we're doing that for Eugene the whole time. So he's just montaging a whole bunch of different outfits, and we're just like, no.
I also want to imagine that Rex just like has a huge fur coat over him, but he's just kind of like, because he's still like bloody and gross underneath. So like if you were to look at him head on, you'd be like, what the fuck is happening to you?
Yeah. So what's everybody's like blending in costume look like when you've all like kind of gotten dressed up? Aurora, what are you wearing?
Rex go first. Amazing.
Rex has got like this like thick pimp mixed fur coat, with like a Russian inspired raccoon-esque hat that's made of like glornite fur.
Nice. Okay.
Which is like this super fine, and and he just looks fucking ridiculous, and he's gonna fit right in.
Okay.
He just grabs the first thing he sees. He doesn't even measure it up. It's just this giant baggy glornite fur coat and hat.
Okay. All right. Cool. Eugene, what did you grab?
So the only thing that I could find that looked like it would be my size-ish is it obviously belongs to some kind of creature that has tons of arms. So I've got like a weird little like pinstripe jacket thing on, and I've had to create lots of arms.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Come out of all of the little openings. And then I've got and then I've taken like a lady's hat, or like more of a feminine hat that has like a wide brim, so that it just like shades me, so that I just like don't, so nobody could see the green. Really
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Okay. Aurora.
I have on the highest of heels, just the highest of heels, and they're black and shiny, and these tiny shorts that are glittery and red, and then like just a shirt, like a tube top pretty much, but it has a jacket over it. Like I'm wearing like a blazer because I'm kind of cold, but it's like not a very nice blazer. It's like kind of ratty. And
I want to know
Rex
what
turns
person,
around and he's like leaning on his cane, and he's like, how did you end up in less clothes?
Yeah. Also, who came to this bar and checked their tube top?
Checked their tube top and like hot pants.
Obviously a hooker. Okay.
Rex is just like, how did this even
like,
happen?
I don't
How
need
do you
these
have
to
less
phone
clothes?
down. Left all of her clothes back
I'm
there.
like wearing these clothes now, and I'm just like, this fits in, right? I think. And I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm wearing right now. Whatever.
Yeah.
But the tube top is actually, what I find out is it's actually like, it was a belt that someone wore around like pants.
Right.
And so I'm wearing, it just looks ridiculous. So
Perfect. Excellent. Cool. So the three of you have your costumes on, and you head out into the to blend in to the bar. And so this bar is more speakeasy and less cantina. It's dimly lit. Everything is in like maroon and crimson. We have like candles sitting on the table, on all these tables, and there's people sitting and drinking. And then at the far end of the room, you walked in at the end of the set of of this band. So this guy, this like alien with a big bushy mustache, is like putting down his sci-fi equivalent of a trombone. He's got a couple of other. There's somebody playing some drums. There's a kind of octopus-looking alien that was turning a crank on some kind of engine. And they've just finished this like space jazz quartet number. And the guy with the mustache comes up to the mic, which is just floating in front of him, and he says, "We're just gonna take a break and grab a drink, everybody. Thanks for coming to Missy's. We're Higgs and the Bosuns. Stick around." And the rest of there's some like polite applause, and people are lighting cigarettes and talking. And we get this long shot as we pan around, and then we see the three of you looking good step out into the dim kind of amber light of the bar. And that's when we cut to break. So just like Higgs and the Bosun says, stick around. We'll be right back with more RollPlay Nebula Jazz.